do you take a dull raw image like this and turn it into this? Well, there's a few steps I always take, and it's very fast and very easy, so let's get going. Okay, first off, I need to up the exposure. I almost always need to do this with raw footage because it's always a little dark, and I don't like to go over one, so I keep it. This one's a pretty dark one, so I'm keeping it pretty high. I also always bump the contrast. This is a style choice, but I do like that it gives me a little more detail and sharpness. For this, I'm going to lighten the shadows, but definitely focus on shadows and highlights. I think the highlights are a little much here. And then, very importantly, I come down, scroll down a bit, and for this particular picture, I'm going to actually scroll back up and change the temperature because my white balance is a little bit off and I want just a richer, more saturated look. If I scroll down, this is where I get all my important stuff. This is the stuff you don't want to miss out on with raw images. I'm going to up the sharpening just to give it that fine detail, and then denoise my photo. This will clean it up. This takes the longest. It loads up here, and then you'll get like a little pop-up window. It's all set the way I want it, so I can just enhance. And that takes some more time. But while that's happening, I will remove chromatic aberration and enable lens corrections. This is really, really vital. These make all the difference, and I never ever fail to do those because when you shoot images with a lens, it distorts the image, and this will correct for that. So that helps a ton. Also, if you want, you can add a lens blur. I'm just going to show you what that does, but for this particular image, I don't want it. But there are many times where I like this effect. It will give you the option to have a blurred background if you didn't shoot with a blurred background. So it's just estimating depth. Taking a moment. And once it figures out the depth, you can see here, it's got that blurred background that looks really good. And I can turn it down or up. In this case, if I turn it down, there's more blur back here, but these are in focus. And then if I turn it up, way more blur in that middle ground. So I'm not going to use it for this, but I do think that is a super cool feature that you don't want to miss out on. Now on the right hand side, this double circle thing is the presets that come with Lightroom, and they can all be very fun to play with, but the preset I like the most is the Adaptive Subject Pop or Warm Pop. Let's go with Warm Pop here. Now with the pop, I like to make it look natural, so I always do a little less than half. If you go too hard, it really just like separates the foreground from the background in an unnatural way. So I think that is good. And one last thing, if I do an outdoor shot and the sky's kind of blown out, I do like to add a little blue drama. So that is very subtle, but it definitely gives it a little oomph. So that is it. The most important things are removing chromatic aberration and enabling lens corrections. I don't know why those got unselected, but as you can see, it identifies my lens, and those two are vital. Also, sharpening never hurts, and upping your exposure is important with a raw photo also. So that's it. Try it out on your photos, and I guarantee they're going to look better right off the bat. Thanks, guys.